Ahoy, ja jestem Koen and today I'm going to review the entry of Czechia at Eurovision 2023, Vesna with the song My Sister's Crown. This year's Czech entry was decided with the national final ESCZ again. This time, the winner was decided with a live national final instead of a national final based on music videos or, like last year, a national final based on recorded live performances. This was a national final with actual real live performances, and it was broadcasted on the official Eurovision Song Contest YouTube channel in English. Also, the name Czech Republic was changed to Czechia this year, as well on the Eurovision website as on the official social media accounts. The live show took place on the 30th of January, and the reveal of the voting results took place 8 days later on the 7th of February. The eventual winner was the group Vesna, beating Oscar winner Markéta Irglova and ESCZ returnee Pam Rabbit, among others. Right after Vesna won the national final, there was already some controversy surrounding this group and the entry, especially coming from Ukrainian Eurovision fans. Now, I'm not Ukrainian, nor do I have any Slavic roots, so if you do and I'm explaining something wrong, please correct me, because I try to do my research as well as possible, but I would hate to offend anyone by explaining it wrong. But if I understood it correctly, the main issue with this entry, when it won the national final, is the fact that it talks about Slavic sisterhood and is sung in Ukrainian. Now, this is kind of a sensitive subject for Eastern European countries because Russia often used the idea of Slavic brotherhood to justify forcing countries into the USSR. Now, if I understood correctly, most people are not asking Vesna to be disqualified, but they just want people to understand why this entry could rub them the wrong way. The members of Vesna are from Czechia, Slovakia, Russia, Bulgaria, and Ukraine. The song is sung in Czech, English, Bulgarian, and Ukrainian. And some people also seem to be uncomfortable by the fact that Olesia Ochepovskaya, the member born in Russia, is also singing in Ukrainian and talking about Slavic sisterhood and singing about choosing love over power, which feels to some people as trivializing the situation in Ukraine and the war in Ukraine, the same way Russia has done it in the past. Olesia has been living in Czechia since 2018 and has also spoken out against Russia and said that she's very anti-war and anti-Putin. There were also rumors spread that the husband of Olesia was fighting in the Russian army, but this rumor was debunked because he's a musician in Czechia, though the fact that Olesia still has a Russian citizenship still makes some people feel uncomfortable about this whole entry and the participation of Vesna in this year's contest. The music video is also packed with symbolism, from the color purple, which is known as the color of royalty, which seems to be representing Russian imperialism, the TV heads standing for propaganda, imposing beauty standards over other Slavic beauty standards, Olesia, the Russian member, being the only one being handled gently by the purple man and being fed what seems to be borscht with letters in it, which also seem to be representing propaganda. Like, there's a lot of thought in the music video. And then there's also the lyrics, "We are not your dolls," which could be referring to the Russian dolls, and "No one wants more boys dead." So there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of things in this entry that really are directly pointing at a war, basically. When Vesna won the national final, it took actually quite some time until they were officially confirmed on the Eurovision website and on the Eurovision socials as the official Czech entry, which made quite some people pretty nervous. Like, some people already getting mad at Vesna being disqualified because of being too political, without there even being any serious talks about that. Like, there were just rumors because they weren't confirmed yet. But in the end, they obviously did get confirmed as the official Czech Eurovision entry this year. I followed the Czech national final. I also watched the live show, and I gotta say that from the beginning, My Sister's Crown was my favorite already. But I didn't really know that this could rub people, especially Ukrainian fans, the wrong way, because I'm not Slavic and I only read about it after they won. But I do understand why people could be uncomfortable by the way that this entry is talking about the war and talking about sisterhood, which could, make them feel uncomfortable, and the fact that they're singing Ukrainian about sisterhood could make them feel uncomfortable. I also didn't really get how there were so many people, like mostly Western Eurovision fans, who were mad at Ukrainian Eurovision fans, saying that they felt uncomfortable by this entry, because saying like, you should be grateful because they are standing up for you. Like, something could be done with their best intentions but still rub people the wrong way. And I think think it's important to just listen to why people feel the way they do and just acknowledge that, because you can't say that someone should be grateful for something if that something just makes them feel uncomfortable or rubs them the wrong way. Something done with the best intentions can still be hurtful or tone deaf or misinterpreted. Like, obviously they're not going to kick out a member of the band because she's born in Russia, since she's been part of this band for years and is also openly anti-war and anti-Putin. But I do definitely think it's important to listen to the voices that tell you that your entry is making you uncomfortable. So I do hope that Vesna has listened to those voices and acknowledged that and thought about their entry and how they're going to take that with them in the process of making their Eurovision performance, for example. Like, I do think it's important to listen to the voices that you are speaking out for if they're telling you that you're hitting the wrong nerve. Now, talking about the song, I personally love a multilingual song, so I was already really sold on the song. So I was initially very happy when they won. But after the concerns about this entry expressed by some people, I did get sort of a different view on it. I'm sure they mean well with the entry, obviously, but I hope they also really take into account the people who are telling them that they're feeling uncomfortable with aspects of this entry. I'm also very curious to see what the staging will look like for this song, because the director of the music video will also be in charge of the staging for Vesna this year. So I'm excited because I think the visuals of the music video are really pretty. So I'm curious if they're going to sort of copy the music video onto the Eurovision stage or if they're going to do something completely else. I mean, we're probably going to get a better performance than the national final performance, because the national final didn't really look that well put together, especially the stage. Like, there is some room for improvement, but at least you can see that the Czech approach to Eurovision is in an upwards line, I think. Like, I don't blame the fact that the national final performance wasn't that great on them, because you couldn't really work with that stage, I think, especially with this song. And I get why it maybe didn't look the way you'd expect a performance of this song to look. And I do wonder if some changes will be made based on the critical comments on this entry. Like, will they still sing in Ukrainian? Will they not sing in Ukrainian? I doubt that they won't, but maybe staging-wise something will be done. I don't know. I do feel like Czechia has a good chance of qualifying this year. Sure, they're in the first semi-final, which is the strong one this year, but I feel like Czechia is one of those countries that makes the semi-final such a strong semi-final. I think, especially this year, since the semi-final qualifiers are only decided by televotes, that this entry has a good chance at qualifying. Mostly because I think that the Western viewers will maybe not really understand why sisterhood is such a sensitive topic and will only see this as a unifying song with a meaning of unity and supporting. So they will probably vote for it with that thought behind it, because maybe they won't really think about the way it could be interpreted by Ukrainians who do feel uncomfortable with some aspects of this entry. And of course, there are also Slavic countries participating in this semi-final who could vote for this entry because of recognizing the Slavic cultures in this entry and the Slavic themes, making this recognizable for them. Too bad Bulgaria has withdrawn this year, because there is a Bulgarian verse in this song, so I think Bulgaria would have definitely voted for Czechia this year, but oh well. In the grand final, if the staging is done right, which there is a lot of potential for, because this could be a moment on stage, I think, I could see this ending up in the top 10, maybe even top 5, but I would say top 10, or at least left-hand side of the scoreboard. So to conclude, My Sister's Crown was one of my favorites to win the Czech national final from the beginning, and also one of the big fan favorites to win, but I do also understand why this entry could make some people uncomfortable, especially Ukrainian Eurovision fans, and why it could rub them the wrong way. I hope I did explain this correctly. If I didn't, please tell me in the comments, because I would hate to offend someone by not talking about someone else's situation correctly. So please enlighten me if I'm wrong. I hope Vesna does take all those comments into account and think about how they could maybe sort of fix this with the staging, because their entry is about supporting Ukraine. So it would only make sense to listen to Ukrainians telling them that some things are rubbing them the wrong way. I feel like Czechia has a good chance at qualifying. If the staging is done well, I could see this end up in the top 10, maybe even top 5, but left-hand side of the scoreboard is possible, I think. And that's about all for now. What do you think of My Sister's Crown? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully until next time, Spohem!